Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Anne Marie Medina. My role at the University of Arizona Health Sciences is Director of Corporate and Community Relations for the Tucson campus. I would also like to introduce you to Caroline Berger, who is the Director of Corporate and Community Relations in Phoenix, and Allison Otu, who is our Executive Director. We are a brand new team at Health Sciences. We're excited to engage with you, so we invite you to send us an email and stay connected with us. A little bit about the University of Arizona Health Sciences. We are a statewide leader in biomedical research and health professions training. The U Arizona Health Sciences includes the colleges of medicine in both Tucson and Phoenix, the colleges of nursing and pharmacy, and the Mel and Ian Zuckerman College of Public Health, with main campus locations in both Tucson and the growing Phoenix Biomedical Campus in downtown Phoenix. From these vantage points, the Health Sciences reaches across the state of Arizona and the greater Southwest to provide cutting-edge health education, research, and community outreach services. As a major economic engine, the Health Sciences employs nearly 5,000 people, has approximately 4,000 students and 900 faculty members, and garners over $200 million in research grants and contracts annually. I'd also like to introduce you to our leader, Dr. Michael Dake, who serves as the Senior Vice President for Health Sciences. I encourage you to follow the UAHS social media accounts to learn about all the amazing work that has been done, especially in the last few months by our clinicians, researchers, and students in response to COVID-19. I'm sure you've heard a lot about us in the news recently and seen Dr. Robbins on probably every channel there is, but we're extremely proud of the great work that's being done and is being recognized at a national level. So if you're on social media and you want to help promote our events, we invite you to use the hashtag WellnessWednesdaysAZ, or you can also tag me using my Twitter handle at @AMedinaWildcat. The first 15 minutes of our presentation will be from our presenter, and then we will have a chance to ask questions at the end. So we've muted everybody so that we can hear everything that Jen has to say, but we'd love to hear from you in our chat function. So if you just look at the bottom of your screen and click on the chat, just leave me a question, and after our presentation is finished, I'll read the questions to Jen and she'll answer them for you. Also, be on the lookout for our post-event email. We'll send you links to all of the resources, and there are a lot of them today, so make sure you're looking out for those. There'll also be a short 2-minute evaluation, and we really appreciate it if you would fill out that evaluation. You know, we track those metrics, and they really help us to determine how well we're doing and to determine what we need to do to improve. We are recording this session today, so we'll send you that recording link, and we'll encourage you to share that with your friends and put it on social media. We'll also include the links to all of our previous sessions, just in case you missed one and you want to watch one of them again. So let me introduce our speaker today. Jennifer Parlin is the lead for the Garden Kitchen, a seed-to-table whole health program located in South Tucson. She has been with the Pima Extension for 9 years, and in that time has completed a master's degree in public health and started a hands-on culinary education through the Garden Kitchen. Jen normally only wants to go to the grocery store twice a month, so is very excited about keeping produce fresh at home for as long as possible. And today she will share her tips with you for doing so. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and I'm going to introduce Jen. Take it away, Jen.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me today virtually at the Garden Kitchen. I wanted to talk to you a little bit today about shopping, cleaning, storing, and then if we have some time, about prepping the produce that comes into your house. To start off, I wanted to talk about shopping a little bit. So I know that this is going to take some prep, but I really think it'll be worth it during this unprecedented time and also during just busy times of your life. Start with a list. So this list doesn't have to be totally complete. It can have things on it like specialty ingredients from a recipe you want to try out, or things you don't have to buy very often, so you might forget them. And then maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different family favorites that you know are going to be crowd pleasers. And then maybe you don't even have to look at that recipe. Maybe you just have it in your back pocket. So start with that list for sure. You can leave some holes in it for shopping seasonally and picking up different things as you get ideas. But depending on how long you want to go, between going to the grocery store a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is, start with a list. So we have our list, we have some family favorites, we have things maybe we don't buy all the time, so we might forget them, and then some specialty things on there. And then we've left some holes so that we can shop seasonally. When you go to the grocery store, you can tell what's seasonally available, mostly because those are the things that are going to be on sale. So not only does it cost you a little bit less, but also those are going to be at peak season. So you're going to get great nutrition from them, and hopefully they are going to last a long time in your refrigerator. When you're there and you're picking out different things seasonally or things that you just want to have, make sure you're looking for the freshest things possible. So if you're looking for something that should be heavy, like a melon or a hard squash or a cabbage or something like that, when you pick it up, make sure that's really heavy. It's heavier than it looks like it should be. That means it's got a lot of water weight, and it's going to be fresher for longer than if something it feels lighter when you pick it up. So make sure that you are picking in that way. Things like berries, I have some blackberries here today. Look at the container that those are in. So they're usually in something that's see-through. Turn it over, look on the side, make sure that those berries aren't moldy or smashed all in there, and that the little pad underneath isn't very wet. Things like that indicate that those are going to go bad faster. For our leafy greens like this kale or this parsley here, make sure that they look like they can stand up and they're going to do really well. If things are sad and laying over like this, sometimes I go to the grocery store and see greens that are all laying all together and a little bit wilty. Make sure that you don't pick those because they've already lost a lot of their water, so they're going to go bad faster. Okay? Also anything that's yellowing or bruised or has holes from pests, either birds or bugs or anything like that, make sure you try to avoid those things when you're picking out your produce. So you bought your produce, you took your list, you got the things you needed, now you want to come home and hopefully you have enough time to clean it when you bring it home. I know this requires a little bit more planning too, so I'm asking you for planning on either end of your shopping trip. But what this does is helps us to be encouraged to use our produce in a timely manner. So if I'm on Zoom calls all day long and then it's Thursday at 8 o'clock at night and I have produce in the fridge, but I haven't washed it, having to wash that and then prepare the meal doesn't encourage us to use it, right? So, and we also want to think about other factors, environmental contaminants, things like that. If we bring all of those things home, put them in our fridge, take them out to wash them, and then put them back. I don't really want to wash my fridge that often, so I'm going to try to clean everything so that my fridge can stay as clean as possible for as long as possible. I'm going to talk a little bit about our cleaning procedure here at the Garden Kitchen and also what I do at home. So I use bowls for this. I've already asked you to do a lot of preparation, so I'm not going to ask you to do more in cleaning your sink out. Sinks can be pretty dirty, especially around the drain. So if you want to use your sink, make sure that you really scrub that down before you put water in it to put your produce in. An easier solution for me is just to use bowls that fit within the basin of my sink. I have 2 bowls here just because if I'm shopping for a couple of weeks in a row, I might end up with a lot of produce in the end. So standing like this and bent over a sink for a long time is going to be uncomfortable and not encourage me to do the cleaning when I get home from the store. So I'm going to set it up like this. This is my height. You might need something like a colander or a different kind of pan or something like that to be at your height, but make sure you're comfortable. So we have our cleaning bowl here. We're going to have a rinse bowl also, and then we're going to have a clean counter to put everything on. So I'm going to have a dirty counter to put everything on when I first arrive home, and then I'm going to have a cleaning station, a rinse, and then some dry towels on the side. And we'll talk about those towels in a minute. This one is the one I want to concentrate most on though. So I'm going to fill this with a solution of 3 parts cool water. We're going to try as cool as it gets in Arizona in the summertime, I know, but as cool as you can do. And then 1 part of this distilled vinegar. Again, I buy this in a big container because the unit price is going to be cheaper like this. But also I always have it and then I don't have to run out to the store because I've forgotten it. If you don't have any distilled vinegar at home, that's totally fine. You can just use clean, cool water, but definitely still have a rinse bowl. Okay, so I put my solution in. Now I have a vegetable brush. I like this one because it fits well and then I can use my other hand to to scrub things, and then I scrub whatever I can. So I'm not going to scrub things that are really, really ripe, like peaches or something like that, that I could bruise the skin or tear the skin, but things that are a little bit harder and can do with a little scrubbing. For your brush, sometimes things called a vegetable brush are a little bit more expensive, so I would just look for a scrub brush. But you're looking for something that is a little bit less hard than you would clean your grill with. You don't want a steel bristle or anything like that. And a little bit harder than you might use under your fingernails, just so that we can try to get all of those environmental contaminants off of our fruits and vegetables, okay? This is also great because it can go directly into my dishwasher, just like these afterwards, so I don't end up with a bunch of clean vegetables, but a bunch of dirty dishes to have to deal with later. So I'm gonna scrub whatever I can in here, but things that can't be scrubbed, like my greens, I'm going to put them in here and just agitate that with my hand, just like you're thinking about a laundry machine or something like that. That motion helps to get some of those environmental contaminants off. So things like dirt or waxes or silt or things like that are going to come off more easily when we're having some motion. And cleaning things in clean water and then rinsing them, or with a brush and vinegar, all help to get some bacteria off of those fruits and vegetables. So it's just a good practice to have at home. So I've put everything in here. If you are doing a lot of fruits and vegetables, make sure that your water still looks clean. As it starts to get murky or it has dirts or other things in it, make sure you're changing that out. You probably have to change out your rinse water a little less often, but if this starts to look murky for some reason, certainly change this out too. Then think about what's the order in which I want to wash all these fruits and vegetables. Some of you may have heard of the Dirty Dozen or the Clean 15. Those lists come out every year. I would say wash your Clean 15 fruits and vegetables before your Dirty Dozen fruits and vegetables. And then the things with the Dirty Dozen would be things that you can see visible dirt. Cilantro is my favorite example. I love cilantro. I always buy that at the grocery store, but it's very silty. It has a lot of environmental contaminant on it. So that's going to make my water dirty very quickly. So I'm going to wash that kind of towards the end so that I don't have to change my water as often. Okay. So I have everything. I'm ready to put it on my clean counter. Then I'm going to have these towels. Just like with your bowls, you want to make sure that the towels that you're using with your food are just used for food. We don't want to clean the bathroom with these and then throw them in the wash and use them for food. So kitchen towels, things that look distinguished from other rags that you use around your house are great. And then they can be washed separately too. Same with your bowls. Make sure you're not using a bowl that you use to scrub down walls or something like that. Most of us do have bowls in our kitchens already, but just use something you have that you can put in and sanitize in your dishwasher. For your towels, I use a microfiber towel, or it's called a lint-free towel sometimes. Most kitchen towels are this, and you're just looking for something that's not going to get little lint pieces on your food. So things that are more bubbled like this have some lint that gets onto the food, and you just want to avoid that when you can. So I have all of my fruits and vegetables washed. I'm waiting for them to dry. I don't want to put things that are super wet into the refrigerator, but damp is okay. Depending on how hot it is in your house or how many fruits and vegetables you have, that's going to take a varying amount of time. And now we're going to talk about storage. I would say for my cleaning procedure, I have 4 main fruits and vegetables that I'm going to not do this with when I get home. Things like berries and mushrooms should be kept in their container until you are ready to use them. Things like onions and garlic, when you get them wet and you don't use them right away, they tend to mold. So you want to just do berries, mushrooms, garlic, and onions when you're going to use them. And until then, the garlic and onions can be stored on your counter, and the mushrooms and berries can be stored in your refrigerator, just in the container that they came in. Okay, So now we're going to talk about storing our fruits and vegetables now that they're all clean and we've done our procedure. I like to do a couple of different things. One is that you can store things like freshly cut flowers, just like this. So I have this parsley today. What you would want to do is cut the end off, just like you do with fresh cut flowers, so that they can uptake some of that moisture. And then I usually put a little piece of plastic or something over it like this, so that they can keep their moisture even more in the refrigerator, and then pop that on a shelf in the refrigerator. This is a good procedure if you have a lot of room in the fridge. Since I'm trying to grocery shop very infrequently, I don't have a lot of room, so I'm going to use something else. I'm going to take my greens and I'm going to wrap them, not super tightly, into a towel like this. And then I'm either going to store them in a container that I can seal, or in a plastic bag just like this. Put them in here. Close this up. You can leave a little pocket of air, and then get some of that air out so that you're able to utilize as much storage room in your crisper as possible. And then just pop this right in there. It's going to help things to keep their moisture longer when you store them like this. And utilize your crisper, absolutely. So the crisper isn't just for extra drinks and different things that are extras. It's really there for our produce to stay better longer. So look at your crisper drawer or two. Some of us have two. Sometimes there's a little toggle on the side, and that has a low humidity or a high humidity. Things that are high humidity are going to be things that wilt. So think about your greens or your berries or asparagus, things that tend to wilt more often, and that high humidity is going to raise the shelf up so that it really locks in just the moisture in the air into that shelf. Low humidity is for things that tend to rot. So things like tropicals, avocados, stone fruit, things of that nature, they need to have a drawer that has a little air space so that the refrigerator air can come out and clean that ethylene gas out more often, because they continue to produce a gas that helps things to ripen or rot over time. Okay, so definitely utilize those crisper drawers. And if it doesn't have a toggle, that's totally fine. Continue to utilize that drawer. So I'm very close to my time, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about different things that you can use for maybe week 1 and week 2. In week 1, I would do things that go bad a little bit faster on your recipes, and then on your shopping list, things like berries or peppers or soft-stemmed herbs like cilantro or parsley, things like that. And then for your week 2, you can concentrate on things that are a little more hearty. So sweet potatoes, onions, I would say woody stemmed herbs like rosemary or thyme. Those tend to keep a little bit longer. And then if you're looking for a green, to make sure that you have all of those beautiful flavors and colors in your diet for week 2, look at cabbage. Cabbage keeps really well for a long time. And if you aren't going to use that whole cabbage, just slice off what you need and then put the rest like this into the refrigerator. And you should only have to slice off just a little bit that got dry, and you can utilize the rest of it later. Also, curly kale tends to last a little longer than some of the other greens. So that's going to be a good choice for week 2 also. I know I'm at my time, so I wanted to let you all know that there are recipes and there's a produce handout on the Garden Kitchen website, which Anne-Marie is going to share. And then you could follow us on social media as well to find all of these recipes that utilize pantry staples and then that produce that you just brought home and made sure was going to last a long time. And it'll start off your list maybe for next time with some simple, easy recipes that are healthy and delicious.
Thanks, Jen. That was a great presentation. Now that I know how to keep my produce fresher longer, I think my wild rabbits are going to be a little disappointed because they're not going to be getting fed as often, but that was super. So we do have some questions for you. First of all, Jessica says she may have missed it, but what was the vinegar used and how much are we supposed to use and what's the purpose?
Yes, thank you. So this is just distilled white vinegar. This comes oftentimes, this is in the gallon jug, but it comes in many different sizes. The point of it is to help with getting rid of some of those environmental contaminants. And some of the studies have shown that it gets rid of a little bit more bacteria than just rinse water alone. It is not totally essential though. If you don't want to use it, you can just do 2 parts, one with the cleaning and then one with the rinsing, just with cool water. That's fine too. But if you're going to do this solution, I would do 3 parts water and 1 part vinegar, or however big your bowl is.
Great. And she also wanted to know, do you clean all of your fruits and vegetables right after you purchase them from the grocery store before storing them in the refrigerator? And does cleaning them immediately help keep the food fresher longer?
Yes, I try. I have 4 exceptions though. I don't do garlic, onions, any kind of berry, or mushrooms when I get home. I only do those as I'm going to use them because they tend to go bad faster when you get them wet and don't use them right away. But I've tried to wash everything else. And it doesn't necessarily help to keep things longer, but it does encourage you to eat them more when they're ready for you to pull out, instead of having that extra step of having to clean them at 8 o'clock at night on a Thursday when you're already tired. So really just helping in the utilization of our vegetables.
So Ashley wanted to know if running water wasn't just sufficient enough to clean your vegetables if you're doing them in the sink, if you just run water over them.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine to do just water. I would say, again, the sink is kind of a dirty place. So if you have a bowl, that would be great. And then I really like utilizing a scrub brush, and that's really hard to do just over running water. That's why I have these bowls, so that I can put some water in here and then scrub them and move them to the next station. But you can certainly run things underwater. I would at least try to move your hands around in them. Even things like strawberries that really appear to be clean when you get them in the clamshell. Put them in a bowl of water and rub your hands on them a little bit next time. Lots of things end up falling off of them.
So you mentioned that vinegar helps to remove bacteria. Does it also help with viruses, which is, of course, on top of everyone's mind these days?
No. No, it's the same. Water, vinegar, all those things, totally all the same. It's the bacteria that it does help to remove.
Okay. So one question from one of our listeners was, what would you recommend for a cleaner for your fridge?
Oh, that's a great question. I would probably do a really low solution of either bleach or something like that. So in order for a sanitizer to work, you really have to have a degreaser or a soap first. So I would just do some warm soapy water. If you can take those shelves and drawers out of the fridge so you don't have to have it open and expose all the things that are in there to being hot. Take those things out, warm soapy water, just like you would wash your dishes. And that should probably be sufficient. If you feel like you wanted to sanitize them, you could do just a little bit of bleach, probably just a capful in about like 3 or 4 cups of water to do a little sanitizing on them.
Great. One question was, if you purchased vegetables that say pre-washed and ready to eat, do you still wash them?
I wash everything. I also work in the commercial kitchen, and also like a little bit about clean things. So I wash everything.
Good answer. Okay. Michelle said, for vegetables that are wrapped in a towel and then put in a bag, do you have to change the towel at some point?
Well, that's a great question. I would say if your vegetables were a little wetter than you thought they were and that towel gets wet in some way, I would definitely change that, because that causes mold and that causes deterioration. If it's just a little bit damp, that's okay. I wouldn't worry about that. And then if you unroll your towel and some of it's going bad a couple of leaves are going bad or something like that, I would take those leaves out and then change the towel as well and put the rest back in the bag.
Is it okay to use paper towels rather than regular cloth towels?
Yep, it totally is. I just use the regular towels because I can throw them in the wash and then I can use them again. And they work twofold for me to be able to lay things on. And then they also can go in the fridge, just so it's a little bit multitasker instead of having to throw the paper towels away.
Great. One question from Allison was, is organic, do you think that organic vegetables and fruits are better flavor, or are there any other benefits to having organic as opposed to non-organic?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I would say, you know, it really is going to depend on your budget level. Eat vegetables, eat fruit. That is the party line. If you can afford to get more fruits and vegetables because you aren't buying organic, absolutely do that. Eat more. If you can buy organic, I have found that I really like potatoes that are organic a little bit better, and then some of the berries also I find the flavor difference. But a lot of things I don't necessarily feel that they taste different, but you might. I mean, we all taste things different in a different way. So you should experiment and see what are the things that you really love to buy organic. If I'm gonna splurge and get something organic, it's gonna be berries or potatoes, but that's really to my preference.
One question was, I would love to try new vegetables, but I always go to the same ones all the time. What's a good resource to start exploring trying different vegetables?
That's awesome. That's a great question. Yes, experiment. I would say start small, right? So small steps. I wouldn't go out and say, oh, this week I'm going to try a different vegetable every single day or anything like that. I would do maybe one thing, and maybe you need a specialty ingredient for it, or maybe you need to look up a recipe or something like that, something you're really curious about being able to try. But you can go to thegardenkitchen.org, and we have lots and lots of recipes there for things either that you could harvest in the desert or maybe that you wouldn't necessarily see all the time. Check out the recipes there. We have an email there if you have questions or think about, I really would like to try rutabaga and I don't see a rutabaga recipe here. Shoot us an email and we'd be happy to help you.
That's great. So we have time for one last question, and the question is, what do you think about eating vegetables that contain lectins, such as tomatoes and eggplant?
Eat vegetables. Eat them all. Do it all the time.
That's a great answer and a great way to close, Jen. We really appreciate it. I'm going to start sharing my screen so I can put up all of the links that you have. And so let me switch to here and all righty, so you'll see here that we have all of the links for the Garden Kitchen, and I can tell you there is a wealth of information, so many recipes, great stuff on that website. There's also links to the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We will send out all of these links to you in our follow-up email, so you'll be able to link directly to them. So please go there and get all the information. And like Jen said, if you have any questions or need any additional information, if you email them, they'll be happy to get back to you and give you lots of different stuff. So thank you so much for joining us today, and a special thanks to Jen, our presenter. Please remember, you will receive that email evaluation for the event today. Again, it'll include all the links to today's recordings and resources. It'll also have a link to our UA Health Sciences entire virtual calendar of events. There's a lot of other great resources and things going on there. Be sure to tell a friend. Don't forget to sign up for next week for Wellness Wednesday. That will be Dr. Lori Martin-Plank. She'll be talking about staying connected through the generations in a virtual world, so the value of family sharing and storytelling. This is going to be a great topic for the whole family. So we want you to get them involved. Share the registration link with your whole family. Make it a family date, and everybody get involved in that one. I think you'll come out with a wonderful project to work on. So until then, on behalf of all of us at the University of Arizona Health Sciences, be safe, be well, and of course, always bear down.